Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and today I'm presenting for cardstock.com. So again, I decided to do a Patriotic Easel card. So this one was kind of fun to put together, and again, it stands up and displays really quite nicely. So here you kind of see how it is when it is displayed. And it actually was a very easy card to do. So I'm using the Sizzix Tim Holtz Flag and Stars Bigs die. And again, I don't believe this one's available anymore, but again, I've got it in my stash. So the first thing I did was I took an A2 card done on Cougar Natural cardstock, and so it is folded in the middle, and then I went ahead and added, or I scored the front in half again and folded it so that I could create the easel. So right now I'm just adding prize ribbon distress ink to the front with my blending tool, and you can see there I'm using that piece of scrap cardstock as a mask. So there is the front of the card, and you can see the fold down the center, which will allow it to become an easel. So I also cut the stars out of that die set, and I wanted them to be gold, so I am adding gold embossing powder after stamping them with Versamark. So again, we'll go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to pull it off screen and heat emboss it. So here you can see my gold sparkly stars. That'll be great. So again, here's kind of all the pieces as parts to my my card front here. I cut the flag using red cherry cardstock from Cut Cardstock, or actually it's wild cherry, excuse me. So what I'm doing now is I am just attaching this red, white, and blue striped piece to the card base, the inside card base, because again, as that easel stands up, it was just pretty blah without some kind of a, fun colored thing there in the middle. So I dug through my pattern paper stash and found that red, white, and blue piece. So again, I cut the flag base out of wild cherry pop tone cardstock, and so I'm just going to glue it all together here. And I've got three cuts because again, I want the flag to have a little bit of strength because it is going to be glued so that the top part of it stands up when the card base is folded and displayed as an easel. So I'm just using PPA white glue. I use it a lot. I've got a needle nose applicator on it, which works very, very well. So again, I've got all my three flags put together there. So that'll kind of go there in the center. Obviously, I'll have to cut the flagpole here, but I'm not worried about that yet. So I needed to kind of know where to glue the flag. So I took just a pen and I marked the halfway mark there. And what I'll do is again pull my white glue out here, and I'm only gluing the bottom section. So again, below where I made those pen lines. So adding the glue, and then I flipped the card over to make sure that I had it lined up correctly. And so there's that part there. And you can see, I'll go ahead and add the blue field to the flag. And then the flagpole is actually cut out of Hot Fudge pop tone cardstock. And again, I added some foundry wax. It's a Ranger product to kind of give the flagpole a little bit of a metallic look. So there's my stars that I heat embossed a little bit earlier. So I'll go ahead and cut a few of them apart. And what I wanted to do was add those to the front of the card for additional interest. So we'll go ahead and just add the glue and pop them on there. And so the next thing I did was just cut that flagpole off. So now my base of the card is really ready to go. I just need to add the letters and the number that are going to block it and allow it to stand up. So I'm using these Sizzix Thinlits. Again, I'm going to cut July 4 using these dies. So I've cut 4 times. I have 4 layers of 4 that I have to glue together. And so again, you can see these are also cut out of that wild cherry pop tone cardstock. So again, I'm just adding on top of each other, just gluing them all together. And again, I think this will allow the card base, you know, some kind of a blockage. Although in the end, I did end up adding blue stacked stripes because it wasn't quite deep enough to hold it open, or I didn't like the way it was kind of curling. So again, the next thing I did was I pulled out my Nouveau Glaze. I use this stuff a lot when I want shiny things or like eyeballs on animals, those kinds of things. And so what I'm doing is I'm just adding it to the top of each one of those letters. And then I'm obviously going to have to set them aside to dry for a while because it is absolutely liquid and it takes a little while for them to dry completely. Otherwise, I'll end up with fingerprints in my letters, which I really don't want. So again, just kind of adding the interest there. Get it all put together. And so what I did next was I grabbed my T-ruler so that I could align them straight, just adding glue to the back. And I always start, when I'm doing letters to form words, etc., I always kind of look at the end of the space and the beginning of the space because that allows me to get these things aligned well and spaces between, etc. So again, just adding all of my letters on here. And then what I'll end up doing is, sorry, I need to look straight down, make sure they were straight. I'll end up putting an acrylic block on there. And as I said, I did end up adding 2 blue stripes because I wasn't happy with the way it stood up. But again, when you've got the extra depth here, it does a really nice job of standing up for you. So again, this is Terry with Terry's Mailbox. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Blogger. And again, there should be a red arrow at the lower right to subscribe.